Welcome to Electrolux Home Products Adelaide. Here at Electrolux Adelaide, we manufacture ovens for the Australian, New Zealand and export market. Our products include gas and electric, built-in ovens and freestanding stoves. The site is located at Dudley Park. The factory is adjacent to the admin building and houses assembly, press, enamel, stores, supply chain, maintenance and tooling, and also the warehouse to the west. The administration building houses employees working in manufacturing engineering, quality, R&D, finance, purchasing, and HR.
At Electrolux, safety is taken seriously and is incorporated into everything we do. We are committed to the safety and well-being of all of our employees, contractors and visitors, and we have systems in place to ensure this occurs. In line with our safety policy, it is our position that no task is to be undertaken without consideration for safety, irrelevant of its perceived urgency or potential impact on operations. Our ability to deliver the best outcomes for our business and employees are underpinned by our quality, environmental and safety systems. Whilst on our site, we jointly have a responsibility to your safety and to the safety of others. We also encourage your input and feedback in relation to safety, quality and environmental issues or opportunities. These can be made to your Electrolux host or contract manager.
The Adelaide site has designated parking areas, and the designated visitor parking areas are located in the Simpson Avenue car park in front of security reception area. Entry to the site is not permitted unless duly authorised by a representative from Electrolux. All visitors to Electrolux must report to the security reception area upon arrival. Visitors must first sign in and will then be issued with a high visibility vest and visitor's badge that must be displayed at all times. An Electrolux representative will meet you at the security entrance and must accompany you during your visit. For your protection, all visitors are required to wear sturdy, enclosed footwear. Designated areas may also require safety footwear, and your Electrolux representative will advise you on these requirements. Please note that video or camera equipment are not permitted on site unless prior approval has been granted. This site is non-smoking unless in a designated area, and there is zero tolerance for drugs and alcohol. Children under 16 are also not permitted in factory areas. Please be aware of the high volume of vehicle movement when you're on site, both inside and outside the factory building. When entering and leaving the site, please use the pedestrian access doors and not the vehicle access doors. If you are driving, please note the speed limit of 10 km per hour and do ensure that you follow the directional arrows at all times and look out for pedestrians. When in the factory, use designated walkways at all times. These are all painted green and easily identified. Be on the lookout for reversing forklifts and for buggies crossing the pedestrian walkways. The factory area has a traffic management plan in place to protect you and others from traffic movement. Be mindful that forklifts, trucks and buggies operate within most areas. Pedestrians have the right of way. When moving throughout the factory, use designated crossovers at conveyors. Please note that the ovens on the conveyor line have right of way. Use the yellow plates when crossing. Do not enter restricted areas without prior approval. Please note that our site has very strict requirements for wearing personal protective equipment, or PPE. You will be expected to comply with all signage throughout the site at all times. PPE includes gloves, hearing protection, enclosed footwear, safety glasses and high visibility vests in selected areas. Your Electrolux host will guide you on what PPE is required in the area you will visit. It is compulsory to wear hearing protection in the press shop, even if it makes conversation slightly difficult. Due to the complexity of our operations, different areas may have different PPE requirements. While handling metal, safety gloves must be worn at all times. Due to the risk posed by handling sharp objects and metal, the wearing of gloves are strictly enforced. Remember that this is there for your protection. Be especially careful with the sharp edges. The site also has its own medical centre, with a full-time nurse available during normal day shift hours. Electrolux Adelaide has trained personnel to act in the event of an emergency. In an event of an emergency, dial 8333 on any internal phone. Give your name, your location, and the type of emergency. If, during your visit, you are asked to evacuate the building, you must adhere to the directions of your Electrolux representative and emergency warden. There are 3 emergency evacuation assembly points on site. Assembly point 1 is located at the front car park, in front of Administration Building, and assembly points 2 and 3 are located in the back car park. Don't leave the designated emergency evacuation assembly point until cleared to do so by your Electrolux representative or the site emergency coordinator. Electrolux Adelaide is committed to providing a safe environment for all. Whilst on site, you must take reasonable care for your own safety and the safety of others. It is your responsibility whilst on site to report hazards which you may have identified whilst visiting our factory.
Thank you for your attention during this presentation. You will now be directed to a brief assessment prior to access being granted. And remember, whilst on our site, it is expected that safety is your first priority.